welcome back to our channel Dentistry to the Point. So this is a continuation video or a part 2 video of inflammatory bowel diseases, that is namely your Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. We have made the part 1 video wherein we have discussed about the introduction, the clinical features, about the basics of Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. And this part 2 video is going to continue with the investigations and the treatment plan for both the diseases. So I would highly request you that if you haven't watched the part 1 video first, do watch it to get a better understanding of this video. So I'll give the link in the description box and also pop an I button. Starting with the part 2 video, starting with the investigations of the Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. So firstly, we have some general tests to be done, that is your blood test or your leukocytosis, like general tests to be done, for example, to confirm that there is a disease obviously. So that is a mild to moderate normocytic, normochromic or iron deficiency anemia. If you do the blood test, you get this, because obviously baat hai, this is a malabsorption syndrome, so deficiency anemia is a common thing in it. Then you have leukocytosis, that is obviously because it's an inflammatory disease and there is going to be raised WBC count in an infection. And then hypoproteinemia, that is lowered protein level in the blood. Now why this is going to be seen is because of the problems of dehydration or inadequate water intake or excessive water loss, vomiting, diarrhea. All these are going to end up in hypoproteinemia. As we have already mentioned in the clinical features, that diarrhea is present in both the syndromes while it is severe in ulcerative colitis. That's why I said please watch the part 1 video first, so that you are well versed with the basics of the disease, so the investigations and treatment are going to be simple for you. Next is the barium meal study, that is your barium meal follow-up study or barium enema, which are diagnostics for both the diseases but mostly Crohn's disease. Now what is this barium meal study? So there is nothing, there is a white chalky solution of barium. The patient is told to drink that, and this coats your intestine, especially your upper GIT tract, that is from your esophagus to the stomach and the upper parts, that is the duodenum, everything. So if you have to investigate for Crohn's disease, upper GI tract, so you do it as barium meal study, where a white chalky solution which contains barium is drank by the patient, and then when it coats the intestines, it is visible on the X-ray. So any anomaly in the upper GI tract is visualized then. And for example, if you have to do for ulcerative colitis, because ulcerative colitis mostly involves your rectum, so you do a lower GIT barium meal study, actually barium meal enema, that is called, where you give an enema. Now enema is nothing but it's a liquid that is injected into the rectum to either expel the contents or to introduce drugs in the rectum or to permit X-ray imaging. Barium containing enema, okay, so that's an enema which contains barium is given, and the patient is asked to hold it while the X-rays are being taken of the colon and rectum. So what do you study is what do you get to see is the disturbed mucosal patterns, malabsorption patterns that are pathognomic for Crohn's disease, that is known as string sign, that is your marked narrowing of the affected bowel. And here you see the extent and severity of the disease, the ulcerations and the pseudopolyps which are present. This all we have discussed in the clinical features. In long-standing cases, narrowing of the lumen and loss of hostrations. Hostrations are nothing but your folds or segments of the colon, you have that. So it gives a pipe stem appearance. So this is a differentiating point, that in barium meal study you see a string sign here, while here you see a pipe stem appearance. Also colonoscopy or sigmoidoscopy. Now as by the name you understand that when you introduce in the colon, it is colonoscopy. When you introduce in the sigmoid colon part, that is your, or sigmoid parts of the rectum and colon, so that is your sigmoidoscopy. So as we have studied in the introduction that Crohn's disease is more common in the ileum part and everything. So this is obviously of less importance in the Crohn's disease, but definitely since ulcerative colitis is more common in the sigmoid colon, so it is going to be very helpful, that sigmoidoscopy and colonoscopy are going to be very helpful in ulcerative colitis, because it's going to help it differentiate from Crohn's disease. Meanwhile, here endoscopy is more important, because endoscopy is done if the stomach, duodenum are involved and ulcerations are seen. So endoscopy is more important, and here colonoscopy or sigmoidoscopy are more important. Also the sorry, also the plain X-ray abdomen, if you see, so it is seen for the signs and symptoms of toxic megacolon. Now, what is this toxic megacolon? It is nothing but it's a rare life-threatening complication of inflammatory bowel disease, specifically for your ulcerative colitis, and there is nothing but marked dilatation of the transverse colon in the disease. And due to this, there is collection of inflammatory material and gases, and the X-ray shows that dilated gases filled colon. Okay, so this is to rule out any complication or to see the severity of the disease. A plain X-ray abdomen is also seen because toxic megacolon is a complication and may be present. So to rule out that, a plain X-ray abdomen is also done. So these are about the investigations common as well as the specific investigations and their specific finding for both the diseases. Talking about the treatment and management, so we'll see the individualized treatments for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. So the main aim of management in inflammatory bowel diseases is to restore the normal nutritional status and to control diarrhea and to induce remissions. Now, what are these remissions? The remission word means nothing but decrease in or reduction in or disappearance in the signs and symptoms of a disease. Okay, as early as possible you have to do these. So these are the basic manifestations for the management of the disease. So we'll be dealing with the treatments of both the disorders individually, starting with the Crohn's disease first. So firstly we'll see the medical treatment for both and then the surgical treatment. So in medical treatment, the first point is diet and nutrition, that is to improve the nutritional status. Okay, so high proteins diet and high energy diet, either orally or parenterally, depending upon the severity of the disease and or as per the situation demands, have to be given. Okay, also the plasma and the blood transfusions, these are given to improve your anemia or hypoproteinemia wherever there is present, whenever it is needed or present. Okay, this is very basic. Second, you have low fat diet or milk free diet. Okay, now why this? Because it will improve the symptoms of steatorrhea. Steatorrhea is nothing but, as you say, oily stools or fat in the stools. Okay, so when there is secretion of abnormal quantities of fat with feces, that is known as steatorrhea, or if there is lactose deficiency or there is malabsorption. Okay, so that's why low fat diet or milk free diet is given. This will also reduce colics and obstructions of the intestine if the low residues or high fiber diet is also supplemented along with the dietary adjustments. Also, if there is any infection, so oral broad spectrum antibiotics and metronidazole may be given in the presence of the infection. Also, supplementations of iron, folic acid, calcium, vitamin D, electrolytes, whenever deficiency occurs is given. And diarrhea, जो एक main problem है, that is a manifestation or a clinical sign. So it can be treated with appropriate dietary adjustments, which we have mentioned above, and it may be also treated with oral doses of diphenhydramine, that is 5 mg thrice a day, or loperamide, that is 2 mg thrice a day, or codeine phosphate 30 mg thrice a day. Also, your corticosteroids, as you know, these are the class of anti-inflammatory drugs. They are used to improve diarrheas and to induce the remissions. And in extensive active diseases, oral prednisolone, okay, that is 40 to 60 mg daily, may be given for 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, to produce remissions, as I have told you, to decrease the signs and symptoms, okay, and improvement of the signs and symptoms, that is, and then it is gradually withdrawn over a period of 4 to 6 weeks so as to prevent early relapses. So this is going to be the regimen of all things. Now these are the basic requirements which you can write, because you have that knowledge, you can write the general things first. But related to the drugs, so how you can learn is like from diarrhea, here you can get so you can remember diphenhydramine. Okay, now you know that you have to take the medicine. So taking a medicine in Hindi is called what? लेना, किसी चीज को लो, medicine लो, दवाई लो. So वहाँ से आप loperamide ध्यान रख लो. And next you can remember codeine like that only. कि या फिर also one more way is that you remember this DON. codeine का डीन को आप इसको याद रख लो, done. So you have taken your diarrhea से diphenhydramine, low मतलब ले ली, that is loperamide, and the regimen is done, that is codeine. So done, that is done, or dean ऐसे करके. So this is a silly trick from which you can remember the drugs which you have to remember here. Moving to ulcerative colitis, you have firstly is the admission to the hospital, which is desirable for severe cases. Second is the supportive treatment that is given in the form of parenteral fluids, nutrition, supplements, electrolytes and blood to control the dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, and also to correct the anemia and hypoproteinemia in severe cases. And mild to moderate cases need high protein and low residual diet. The same things which you have mentioned here, same is that. Okay. Third is corticosteroids. Now you have to remember this very common, like you have been studying corticosteroids in various diseases, so you know the main two names are your hydrocortisone and your prednisolone. So these two names you have to remember in corticosteroid category. So corticosteroids, now these are effective in inducing remissions. Remissions, as I've told you, nothing but to lessen the signs and symptoms, to lessen the severity of the diseases. So they are used locally in the form of suppositories or enema. Now what is a suppository? It's nothing but a solid medication that is either in a cylindrical form or in a conical form, and that is inserted into the rectum and then it slowly gets absorbed and dissolves its content and everything. While an enema is nothing but an injection of the fluid that is injected into the rectum and then the things happen. So corticosteroids either in the form of suppositories or enemas can be used, okay, for systemic effects, or also orally can be used. Okay, so if you're talking about local corticosteroids, then obviously your prednisolone 21-phosphate or betamethasone suppositories may be useful for the treatment. Otherwise, if the disease is severe, then the systemic corticosteroids are indicated. So in systemic corticosteroids, you nothing have prednisolone 40 to 60 mg given orally in divided doses of a single dose for 4 to 6 weeks, depending upon the response. Same as you have read in your Crohn's disease. Okay, and then if the response is judged by the improvement in the symptoms and the sigmoidoscopy findings, in severe cases IV hydrocortisone 100 to 200 mg 6 hourly can be given in 4 divided doses. Okay, so these are the things, like the configuration is same for both the corticosteroids. There's a new thing here in ulcerative colitis, that is nothing but your sulfasalazine. Now what is this sulfasalazine? It's nothing but a combination of 5-aminosalicylic acid, that is an active ingredient, and sulfapyridine, that is a carrier. Okay? The combination is so formed because the 5-aminosalicylic acid alone is absorbable, hence does not reach in the effective concentration in colon. So the sulfapyridine, that is a carrier in this combination, acts as a carrier for 5-aminosalicylic acid to reach the colon. Okay. Now this is used in mild to moderate cases and it is less effective than corticosteroids, but it is given in oral doses of 2 to 4 grams daily, and it reduces the risk of relapse. Okay. Once the remissions are induced, that is the disease in its low form now, so, and it is done by corticosteroids. So once the remissions are induced by the corticosteroids, then the patients can be maintained on oral doses of sulfasalazine 0.5 grams 6 hourly for 1 to 2 days, 1 to 2 years. Moving to the last part of the medical treatment, which is common to both the Crohn's disease as well as ulcerative colitis, is the use of immunomodulating drugs or immunosuppressive drugs. The example being azithromycin or mercaptopurine or methotrexate. Now what these drugs do or what they are given is, they are used in the patients whose relapse on steroid therapy is, or in whom surgery cannot be performed. Okay. Now for example, if a patient is on corticosteroids, so obviously there are going to be remissions, that is the disease. If it was in its severe form, now it has come to its mild state. Now while withdrawing the corticosteroids, what you can give is your immunosuppressive drugs or immunomodulatory drugs. So these drugs are preferred in their cases, in ulcerative colitis also and in Crohn's disease also, who are steroid dependent, and to reduce or withdraw the corticosteroids to maintain the remissions. Okay. Next you have surgical treatment. So bowel resection is done under following situations. So in Crohn's disease, the surgical treatment is favored when there is frequent intestinal obstructions which are not relieved by the diet and the drug therapy. if there is presence of fistula, strictures and abscess. Now what's a fistula, stricture and abscess has been clearly explained in the part 1 video, so do check that out. Emergency surgery during perforations and extensive involvement of ileum and colon. You obviously definitely know the thing that surgical treatment is going to be initiated only when the disease is not controlled by the medical treatment. Okay. Now the indications for the proctolectomy with ileostomy are, now this, what is this proctocolectomy? It is nothing but the surgical removal of the rectum or other parts of colons. Okay. So it is acute ulcerative colitis resistant to the medical therapy or relapse frequently occurs in spite of adequate treatment. Now these reasons you can write on your own because you know these are the severe reasons कि बहुत relapses हो रहे हैं या फिर medical therapy से treat नहीं हो रहा है, general thing. Okay. Chronic disease with stricture formation and duration of the disease more than 10 years, and if the disease is localized to rectum, then ileolector anastomosis or ileoanal anastomosis with the formation of ileal pouch is preferred. Now this is, you don't have to go into the details of the surgery, but these are the 3 indications or favorable points which favors a surgical treatment. So this was all about the inflammatory bowel diseases, namely of Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. I would request you again and again that medicine is a topic or is a subject wherein you have to continuously be in touch with the subject to remember things. Okay, so please if you are not able to learn the things, I would request just listen to our videos for 2 to 3 times so that you get a better learning of the subject. So this is all about, and if you enjoyed this and understood this, then please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also hit the bell icon so that you're notified every time we upload a video. Thank you so much.